Hopefully one day I can meet Syko Stu and shake his hand and have a man-to-man with him and stuff like that. But who knows? But y'all, the people that know me, y'all know me. Y'all know I got mad love for everybody.
When I first came in there, my goal was to not tackle him onto Stu. I went in, I looked, I assessed, and I said, I have to pull him away from Stu. So that's why I went to the outside and got under an armpit and tried to throw him off to the side.
There's no words, bro. There's absolutely no fucking words at all, bro. At all. It's disgusting. It's just disturbing, disgusting. And Kick as a whole needs to do better, bro. Straight up, bro. Straight up. I'll just tell you guys this. I think that there needs to be some type of policy change. Some certain Kick staff need to be held accountable. Moderation need to be held accountable. And there needs to be change immediately.
Stuart Smith is not backing down. He's dragging Roger Jackson straight to court after what he calls a savage and completely unprovoked attack.
Which is right here. What happened was when I first came in there, my goal was to not tackle him onto Stu. I went in, I looked, I assessed, and I said, I have to pull him away from Stu. So that's why I went to the outside and got under an armpit and tried to throw him off to the side. And when I did that, you know, if you look at the video, you could see him shoot for a double leg on me and try to take me down. He was working the whole time to try to get an advantage, get my legs, dump me on my head so he could do the same thing to me that he did to Stu. Or at least, you know, attempt to, because I would have been awake. But that's what was happening. And then as I got some underhooks set in and I kind of held him up, I was working a position. And I was like, I'm going to roll this guy to the corner. As I started backing him up and using my weight to push him into the corner.
On X, Stuart didn't hold back, writing, "I've filed a lawsuit against Roger Jackson. What he did to me was brutal, uncalled for, and it will not be overlooked. This is about justice, accountability, and making sure it never happens again." And it doesn't stop there. Witnesses are now stepping forward. A pro wrestler who jumped in to stop Roger that night is finally speaking out, revealing what really went down inside the ring.
This is what happened, chat. He went to a pro wrestling event with his coach. Those pro wrestlers, they be just as crazy as MMA guys, right? The pro wrestling guy don't know my son, and he hit him over the head with like a can or a beer can or a bottle or something. And my son didn't know it didn't know it was coming. Didn't know, they didn't tell my son. And he hit my son over the head. I guess he thought my son was a pro wrestler or something. And Roger didn't react, but Roger didn't fight though. He didn't do anything, cause I told Roger not to get punched, but still nigga hit my son over the head. And then he asked my son, "You ain't gonna sell it when you in pro wrestling?" So this motherfucker that hit my son is stupid. So in order for me not to go to fucking jail, I gotta talk to his coach.
Fans are stunned because the story is getting messier by the minute. But wait, Ramage Jackson, Roger's father, is standing by his son with a whole different version of events. He said Roger was at the show with his coach when a wrestler, who had no clue who he was, suddenly smashed something, maybe a bottle, maybe a can, right over his head. According to Ramage, Roger didn't even fight back because he had been told to stay calm in moments like that.
He's trying to like kill the guy, and like it's just sad. Like I don't understand what happened. Like it's hard to explain what happened, and it looks bad for us too. You know what I mean? Like anybody could do that. Like I can go in the ring in WWE and do that. Like why I do that? No. Like you're supposed to have a trust, and that's a different sport. It's a pro wrestling.
Rampage admitted he was livid, not just at the attack itself, but at the fact anyone would even suggest his son should just play along for the show. He blasted the wrestler as flat out stupid and said the only reason he didn't snap right then and there was because he forced himself to cool off by talking it over with his son's coach. That's how close it came to getting uglier. Roger's coach, Auden Ross, also stepped in with his own take, and he didn't sugarcoat a thing. He called the whole situation disturbing and disgusting, warning that the platform itself is broken if moments like this can slide. Ross demanded serious policy changes, saying certain staff and moderators should be held fully accountable before something even worse happens. And the pro wrestler who stopped Roger His account made it sound like absolute chaos. He revealed he needed stitches himself after the fight, but protecting Stu was his only focus. He described storming in from the side, slipping under Roger's arm and trying to wrestle him off balance. According to him, Roger then went for a double-leg takedown, likely aiming to slam him down the same brutal way he had attacked Stu.
You wouldn't convince me this is not attempted murder. That is how you kill somebody. We've seen people die in street fights all the time with things that weren't even that bad. This is outrageous, and it doesn't.
Brendan Schaub admitted his first instinct.
But the wrestler countered with underhooks, lifted him, and used his weight to drive Roger into the corner until the madness was finally under control. Paige Jackson, Roger's brother, tried to show a calmer side, saying he actually hopes to one day meet Syko Stu face-to-face, shake his hand, and have a real man-to-man talk. He claimed those who know him understand he carries no hate in his heart and believes in leading with love. But not everyone is buying that after what went down. Even Dylan Dan, who's seen countless brutal matches, admitted watching the slam was tough.
And I'll be transparent, I like Raja, and obviously I adore Rampage. Me and Rampage have a great relationship. I love Rampage. And it's just by nature, my initial thought was when I heard about this, and I spoke with Rampage, when I heard about this, I went, all right, how can I defend Raja? I look at all the videos, I watched the full live stream and all that. I got nothing. I got nothing. Oh, I can't, you can't defend this. I see this, it's so sad. Because he was just getting started, and that all goes away. If this veteran pro wrestler decides to press charges, that pro wrestler goes, this was a bit, or this was a work, and he just thought that's how it works, I'm not pressing charges, Raja's still gonna take a lot of heat online, but you're not doing jail time. Then we can figure it out. But if that dude wakes up and somebody's in his ear and goes, dude, you gotta make this dude pay. He has to learn a lesson and he presses charges, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really tough. Attempted murder, aggravated assault, it's gonna be tough. Talking about felony.
He suggested Roger might be struggling with serious anger issues because of how violently he threw Stu into the mat. Dan broke it down by explaining that wrestling is built on an agreement of trust. Both performers are supposed to protect each other when handing over their weight. But in this case, he says that trust was shattered. Dan flat out called Roger's slam careless and unnecessary, stressing it looked less like a wrestling move and more like a deliberate attempt to hurt someone. He warned that actions like this damage the reputation of the entire sport, which is supposed to be about safety above everything. And then came the harshest take yet. A streamer who watched the footage said it didn't just look reckless, it looked like attempted murder. He pointed out that people have lost their lives in simple street fights from way less impact, meaning what Roger did could have easily turned fatal. One commentator didn't hold back. He called the whole ordeal flat out outrageous. And he wasn't alone. Brendan Schaub confessed that at first, his loyalty to Rampage Jackson made him want to defend Roger. But after sitting down and watching the full footage from the live stream, he admitted there was absolutely no way to justify what Roger did. Schaub stressed that this isn't just a minor slip-up. It's extremely serious and could follow Roger for the rest of his life. He explained that even if the wrestler chooses not to press charges, Roger will still be dragged online with non-stop backlash. But if charges are filed, Schaub warned that Roger could be staring down some brutal accusations, aggravated assault, or even attempted murder. That would flip this whole scandal into a nightmare situation that no PR team could spin away. MMA veteran Matt Brown added more fire to the conversation, saying straight up that if Roger wasn't Rampage's son, nobody would be cutting him slack. According to Brown, the only reason some fans are holding back on their criticism is out of the deep respect they have for Rampage. Brown also pointed to the evidence that's now everywhere online. Clear footage showing Roger repeatedly slamming and attacking the wrestler with no chance for defense. He said it looked like a straightforward felony, leaning toward aggravated assault or maybe even worse. And he added a chilling reminder, Roger is lucky the victim walked away with only reported injuries because it could have ended in disaster. As the fallout grows, legal experts are now weighing in, and their takes are brutal.
12, 13, like what the I can't even watch this. The kid's blacked out. The kid's blacked out, and I think his goal right there was to murder. Maybe not. Maybe not. blacked out. Maybe he doesn't know what he's doing, but he damn near killed the man. That's crazy. He's got to get some punishment for this. There's just going to be no excuse. He's going to probably go away for a long while, especially on stream. He's on stream and he said 50 subs for a K.
Several attorneys who reviewed the footage say the evidence is so damning that prosecutors wouldn't even need much testimony to build a strong case against Roger Jackson. One even said the clip looks like something straight out of a criminal courtroom exhibit. They stressed that if charges move forward, the conversation won't just be about wrestling anymore. It'll be about whether Roger's actions cross the line into full-blown criminal violence. And with Stuart Smith already suing, this could turn into a double hit: civil court and criminal court. Fans, meanwhile, are split down the middle. Some are calling for Roger to be banned from wrestling permanently, saying the sport doesn't need someone who treats the ring like a street fight. Others argue he deserves another chance, but even they admit the footage makes it nearly impossible to defend him. Behind the scenes, promoters are panicking. Sources claim sponsors are already threatening to pull out, and future bookings for Roger are on hold until this mess gets resolved. One insider even revealed that insurance companies are pressing for tighter safety protocols after seeing how fast things spiraled out of control. At this point, the question isn't whether Roger's career will take a hit. It's how deep the damage will go and whether he'll be fighting in a ring again or fighting for his freedom in court. Matt Brown didn't hold back. He said plain and simple that while people want to support Rampage Jackson during this storm, accountability can't just be ignored. According to him, Roger has to face the consequences of his own choices. Brown called the attack both unnecessary and unjust, stressing the victim never even had a chance to defend himself. He wished the injured wrestler a full recovery, pointing out the man's past struggles made the whole thing even harder to watch. And in Brown's eyes, the only person who might plead for leniency is Rampage himself, because everyone else sees it for what it is. Then things got even harsher. An MMA analyst tore into Roger, flat out calling him a dumb animal who belongs locked in a cage. He blasted the fact that no one stepped in fast enough, claiming Roger should have been knocked out inside the ring the moment he lost control. His words lit up the internet and left fans divided. Was he being brutally honest or crossing the line himself? Even Kevin Lee jumped into the mix, adding his perspective. He made it clear he has respect for Rampage, but said the truth is simple. Rampage needs to hand his son over to the authorities and let him face the outcome of his own actions. No special treatment, no excuses, just accountability. Kevin Lee didn't sugarcoat it. He said if it were his son in Roger's place, he'd expect the exact same treatment, because behavior like this simply cannot be defended. Lee reminded everyone that Roger is a grown man, not a kid, and he has to take responsibility for his actions, even if that means doing time behind bars. He did acknowledge that the victim hit Roger first with what looked like a bottle, but made it crystal clear that didn't justify the savage response that followed. Lee slammed Roger even harder by pointing out that he didn't react in the moment. He actually waited hours before blindsiding the wrestler while he was working, in character, and totally off guard. That, he said, showed premeditation, not heat-of-the-moment anger. And when reports surfaced that the victim's heart had stopped and he was unconscious for several minutes, Lee described the entire situation as extremely serious, calling Roger's judgment reckless and his self-control non-existent. Tim Welch added to the fire, admitting he could barely watch the footage because the victim looked completely unconscious during the assault. Welch said it appeared like Roger's only goal was to cause serious harm, or maybe even worse. He stressed that no matter what excuse people try to make, the attack was outrageous, dangerous, and 100% unjustifiable. And since it all happened live, with claims that rewards and side bets were even being tossed around, Welch warned this scandal isn't just ugly. Its proof punishment has to come, and it has to be severe. Tim Welch later doubled down, saying things are looking very bad for Roger Jackson, even with Rampage's money and a team of high-powered lawyers behind him. Welch warned that the case could easily be viewed as attempted murder, stressing how dangerous this kind of violent behavior really is. He pointed out that people with short tempers have to be especially careful, because once you cross that line, the consequences can be life-changing. Welch explained that while martial arts training is meant for self-defense, it becomes deadly when someone keeps striking after their opponent is already unconscious. He described the incident as flat-out disturbing, adding that reckless decisions like Roger's put lives on the line in an instant. His final words were chilling. This isn't going to end well for Roger. Then Derek Brunson entered the conversation, admitting that at first he thought the whole thing was just part of the wrestling show. But once he realized it was real, he was stunned at how serious it actually was. Brunson condemned Roger's actions as reckless and completely unnecessary, saying nothing justifies what happened that night. He expressed deep concern for the injured wrestler, wishing him a full recovery, but also delivered a warning to Roger. Choices like this always come with heavy consequences. Brunson stressed that even the smallest conflict can spiral into something massive, and in this case, it has turned into one of the biggest scandals the fight world has seen in years. At this point, the writing on the wall is impossible to ignore. Roger Jackson's future looks more uncertain than ever. Between possible lawsuits, criminal charges, and a storm of public backlash, even Rampage's influence may not be enough to shield his son this time. Insiders are already whispering that sponsors are distancing themselves, promoters are refusing to book him, and the wrestling world is treating him like damaged goods. The footage hasn't just gone viral, it's sparked one of the biggest debates in combat sports history. Some fans are demanding lifetime bans, calling what happened a crime, not a show. Others argue that Roger deserves a second chance, but even they admit his violent choices have created scars that no apology can heal. Every day that passes, the pressure builds, and Roger's silence only fuels the speculation about what comes next. One thing's for sure, whether in a courtroom or a wrestling ring, this scandal will follow Roger for years to come. And with critics labeling the attack everything from reckless assault to attempted murder, the outcome could change his life forever. What do you think? Can Roger Jackson bounce back from this? Or is his career officially over before it even started? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you on the next one.